35 minutes late. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm Arezki. I'm here with PH.
Yep.
Arnaud and Jean-Yves.
What's striking?
Yeah, hello by Skype.
Yeah.
Hi.
From Paris. Today on Faim de Séance, we are going to talk about La La Land.
Oh my god.
By Damien Chazelle. Out in 2016, late 2016 in the US, but it was released in France just, last week actually.
It's strange that we keep running into each other.
Maybe it means something.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so. You could just write your own rules, you know, write something that's as interesting as you are.
What are you gonna do?
I have my own club.
Is that gonna happen every time?
I think so.
I saw it a week ago, the day it was released, I think. Something like that.
All right. And you, Jean-Yves?
We saw this last Sunday with my lovely wife, and we went. Well, my wife is not much of a moviegoer, so it's a real
event,
relief when I can get her out, and we both really enjoyed it. So it was a great experience, really.
All right, PH and I just got out of the theater. Actually, we do not have any time to process the movie. We are going to process it with you by talking about it. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, musical, very colorful, full of references. What did you think of La La Land?
Arnaud, shall we? Do you want to start? Do you want to...
Maybe I could start, but I think I'm gonna be the Grinch on this one.
Well, it's really nice because I'm going to be the over-enthusiastic freak, so it's really going to work out. All right,
for me. Nice to have two points of view right here. You know what? Since everyone seems to love it and everyone is talking about it,
so I'm not included in that. Everyone.
No. I'm actually just talking about outside people. Outside of this conversation. 14 Academy Award nomination, I think. It's a wave of love for this movie. So let's start with you, Jean-Yves, and tell us what you think about that movie.
So first of all, I should say that it's a bit odd because my experience of the film changed in the days that followed the viewing because my feeling is that when we first got out, my wife and I, we felt really sad, and that's really strange because we really identify to the issues of this big thing of catching dreams and when you try to figure out what you want in life, etc. So we came to appreciate it a few days after. And we, like everybody else, we've been singing the songs like "Pass me the salt, baby." So we've been in this kind of vibe, the singing all the time, listening to the score, and what I want to say before getting into details and before listening to everybody else's opinion, I want to say that despite the fact that it got really laudatory and lofty reviews, it did live up to my expectations. I was not disappointed regarding the huge amount of fairly good reviews it got. So this is the first thing I want to say about La La Land.
I have to say, I'm a bit ambivalent about the movie. I don't think I will be such a Grinch as Arnaud, because there are part of the movies that I really enjoy, the ones that are made to be enjoyed by the kind of moviegoers that I am. I'm completely partial to musicals in general. There were lots of nods to lovers of Singing in the Rains and stuff like that. So those bits, I just loved them. I was especially well surprised by the very first scene, the very first act, which caught me by surprise, and it was funny, and it was nice, it was over the top, and I was wondering, okay, if the whole movie is gonna be like that, it's gonna be cheesy, but at least it's gonna be a contract between me and the director. I'm making a cheesy movie, let's enjoy that. The romance about it was it took a bit of time for the romance to become interesting. And there were lots and lots of stuff that just prevented me from suspending disbelief. And to my surprise, it was not so much in the musical part, it was in the romance part. Because it was just, if you get the musical acts out of this movie, it's just a pretty lousy rom-com with for very wealthy white people in Los Angeles, whose message is that, life of actors is really, really hard. And life in Los Angeles for the people working in arts is very, very hard, especially considering that they all live in beautiful mansions and can drive Priuses. And it's Academy Awards bait. It's meant people are going to give awards to this movie because everybody in the Academy has been through something like that. They have been struggling actors, except they could not afford Prius at the time. So I understand why it's gonna get so many nominations, but those were the parts that I was kind of me about.
Okay, so if Arnaud is
basically
more a Grinch than you, there will be zero yum.
No, but again, the musical acts are just gorgeous. The very last one is brilliant.
Please let me chip in just right before Arnaud takes it away because I liked it. I know I liked it a lot, and I know I will enjoy it more when I think about it in the next few days because it has that feeling inside me where I can see myself think about some arcs in those characters or the themes that are brought up in this movie. It does, and I agree with you. It does come into play that it's again a movie about Hollywood, like we've seen lately, the struggles, I'm putting air quotes on it, of new actors, newcomers, and people who have artistic aspirations and who ask themselves the question, do I have to grind and still persevere or just abandon ship? And let me tell you, I was not in a great disposition to see this movie because, life is hard out there for a dentist, and so obviously I was a little suicidal before I saw this movie, and I challenge people not to have a goddamn smile while they see that movie. Of course, there will be scenes that will not perhaps speak to you, but I've enjoyed it more, and I was. I'm a sucker for musicals, like you are. So this part, okay, you had me at your first song. Fun and interesting choice to have two actors who are not real singers. And I thought it was
Ryan Gosling is a real singer. He has a group,
Yeah.
Dead
I
Man
have
Bones.
a band too. It's decide to say. I'm saying like he does not have a Broadway voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
He doesn't sing well.
He
sings
definitely
professionally,
they hit the notes. I'm just saying their voices are not the voices of Adele or whatever. The thing that kind of surprised me in that was actually the romance, because I didn't give into it in the beginning, except on the comedic side, because there's definitely alchemy between the two actors and the two characters. And as the themes of the movie are starting to get a little bit deeper, the relationships and the difficulties in this relationship, I kind of resonated in me a little bit. Okay. So this was a good surprise for me. The ending was probably the most emotional stuff for me. I didn't cry because I'm not a fucking bitch, but I was really close because it was well done, and it had not to give so much away of the plot, but he surfed on a very thin wave, not being too cheesy for a mega happy end, and not being too dark or too frustrating for the themes in play. So I really liked it. Back to you, Grinch. Arnaud.
First of all, I have to say that I'm going to concur with PH, meaning that I think that the musical numbers are great. Yeah. Okay, he knows how to make a cut. He knows how to move the camera. Yeah. Everything, it's really impressive. As he said, the first shot of the film, it's a shot, I think it's between 5 and 10 minutes long, maybe something like that. It's a musical number. It's really long. It's really well done. I think this single shot must cost something like 2 French films by itself. You know.
Yeah, definitely it's, some Parapluie de Cherbourg references, like.
Yes, several times. I think the first number is more a young girl of Rochefort thing, but I think he really tries to do a musical as Jacques Demy did them in the 60s. Yeah. But I really don't like what the movie carries with it. I don't like the thing he tried to say about art, about people as well. And I'm gonna say that the main fault for me in this film are the supporting characters.
Oh yeah,
meaning there are no supporting characters in the film.
Yeah, no but isn't that a choice? Isn't that like?
Wait, I need to add. I'm gonna talk a lot now.
So you just can't.
Okay, buckle up, guys.
It's going to be some.
I'm gonna get
something
another beer.
like a tunnel, you know, like the thing that struck me a lot during the film several times. It's the absence of reverse shots. First, in the second part of the film, I think, when the love story begins between Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. There is a bit of a problem because Emma Stone is engaged to someone else. Maybe not engaged, but
she's seeing
I don't remember really well.
Else.
They've been dating for a month, so it's not that big.
And the first time we see the current boyfriend of Emma Stone, I feel like he is out of. He comes out from a Bret Easton Ellis novel, you know? He has a grey suit. He has the same haircut as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. And when you see him arrive in the shot, it's like he's already condemned.
Yeah, but it's,
you know?
It's stylistic. I mean, it's...
it's stylistic, but I don't like it. I don't even understand why she's with him, you know? He's boring. Maybe working in an office or in finance, something like that. They are having a dinner with the brother of the boyfriend. And everything in the scene tells me that this is boring, because the characters are boring, they are not saying anything, it's really shallow. And during this dinner, Emma Stone realizes that she wants to be with Ryan Gosling. So she gets up, she says, "I'm sorry," and she leaves. And at this point, I wanted to see the reverse shot. We see Emma Stone leaving, saying, "I'm sorry." I want to see the reaction of his boyfriend and of the people on the table, but we don't get them because he doesn't care about the secondary characters. Yeah, he doesn't care about them.
Why do you care?
Why do I care? Yeah. Because I want my film to be peopled by people. You know, not to be peopled by
point of the whole
hollowed hulls.
Isn't that the point of what he's telling in this movie? It's when you're in love, nobody else matters.
No,
you know?
not when you're in love. When you're a selfish prick, nobody else matters.
Also,
were you, Greg? Were you?
Also, you have to mention that the people.
No, it's not the only time. If you see the casting directors, if you see the roommates of Emma Stone, we don't know anything about them.
But they're the enemies.
Stay. Exactly, they are the enemies.
They're symbols for what the director dislikes, for what he hates. So he hates people who do casting and who do the choice and the arbitrary choices of the worst thing.
He hates people.
He hates the people who watch TV instead of going to the movies. So they're the bad guys. You don't get a back shot on the bad guys.
It's a movie about judgment. Yeah. It means when there is someone that enters the movie, is prejudged by the director. He doesn't get to be a character because he's a prick, you know. And that's the only thing he has to say to say about these characters, and I really don't agree with that. And it's something ontological, you know. I don't like films like that. I like my films to have, you know, to have empathy for the characters, the secondary characters as well. And it's something because in the mind of Damien Chazelle, you have to be like Ryan Gosling, and Ryan Gosling is not that sympathetic a character, you know. When you see the first time, he seems like someone really self-centered, really obsessed about these things, and at no point they are going to... I'm going to have an element to balance that. It means that that's the characters. He loves these characters that way, and he's right.
Yeah, well, you know, it's well, I guess it's about taste, because obviously it doesn't come unnoticed for me, or I guess for any other moviegoer who watched that movie. But I obviously, again, I thought it was definitely a choice from Damien Chazelle, and you know,
yes, it's a choice. It's a shitty choice. That's what I say.
And that's the thing. It's about, and I'm not against that, and I do not dislike that. I guess that's what thing I'm saying about the taste of it, because when I see those kinds of shots, those kind of non-shots, because we barely saw this guy's face, and I'm saying, oh, all right, you want your movie to be about those two people only, and I get it, and I agree with it, because you're kind of like that. And again, I thought this was a comment on how your brain works when you're in love. You just kind of, you know, think about only the other person, and everybody else is kind of... And yes, you're right, you're selfish, because when you're in love, you're also selfish, because everything on your time just becomes the other person.
Then why don't I have a development on the characters before they meet? Because before they meet, they are the roommates, and they don't exist as well, you know? So it's not like this is something... It's not like a statement. It's the way that he makes films. Either you are the genius, or you are the mediocre. It's the way that Damien Chazelle sees the world, and it's not something that I like, and it's
okay. Well,
you know.
So would this be the major thing that you didn't like about that movie? So if there were to be more character development on the supporting roles, you'd have like that more?
Yes and no, because it would change everything.
Yeah, obviously.
You know?
Yeah. But isn't that the whole musical thing? It's supposed to be stereotypical. It's supposed to be caricatural, to have a little bit of, it doesn't really matter. They're from the Jets, and they're from the Sharks, but we only have to listen to his solo or her solo, and that's the whole musical thing.
No, because why? Because if you take West Side Story, the Jets and the Sharks, who are you rooting for? You don't know, you know, because he tries to balance the two groups, and it's the same thing with the Jacques Demy film. You have the musical number, beautiful, and then you have the scene with the characters, and the characters have you know, it's not just about the two people. It's about the people that are living around the main characters as well. Yeah. And it says something about the world, and the way it treats the secondary characters is like a statement from Damien Chazelle and in his film of how the world works.
I would just end this topic by saying I think that the ending of this movie kind of highlights the fact that he's aware you shouldn't be judgmental, like you said, because other characters got in play, of course not in front of the camera, but you realize, other people are important too. They will enter your life at one point and change it completely, even though for a moment there you thought everything that mattered was one person or your career? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna let Jean-Yves talk, but I'm gonna talk about the end as well because I didn't like it. And
okay, so you didn't like anything. Okay, Jean-Yves, did you feel like Arnaud or PH, a little bit, I guess, upset by the lack of character development on the supporting roles, or did you just tag along with the whole flow of the movie?
Not really, because I was really blindly, sucked into the film because to go back to Damien Chazelle, I think from what I understand, it's just about this guy, and he's just in love with Los Angeles, and the film is a way for him to tell about walking around and discovering this enchanting and mysterious imagery. And I don't know, I was just walking around, and you go and you walk through Mulholland Drive, and I just feel that it's a film about someone who's just writing a love letter both to Hollywood and also to this big Los Angeles world. And that's why I don't really agree with the fact that you might leave some people behind. It's just that, and this really connects to what you said about being in love, is that there is something not really down to earth about the way you have to interpret this movie. Personally, I'm in a strange disposition when I watch this movie, because I am being, floating above the ground when I watch the musicals, the set pieces, but at the same time, I can relate to the love story. I can relate to their connections. I laugh sometimes. So I don't really see him. And also what I want to say is that I watched an interview of Damien Chazelle, and what he says, and there's a really, really interesting question that's been asked by the journalist. He asked, do you think there is a connection between the way you see your movie and the way you succeeded with Whiplash? And there is something about that, because once you've done a movie like Whiplash, then automatically doors will open for you, and automatically you jump into this world, and you jump into this world with success. So I think there is something not really. It's really hard for me to interpret this as being down to earth. There is something really mysterious and melancholic that I can't put really an analysis on it. I just took the movie like this, and I was really, because I too am in love with this Los Angeles imagery. I too looking forward to walk down these aisles and go to these movie lots, and this is part of a childhood trope, and so that's why I don't really agree with the negative
Well, I agree with you on Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles is beautifully shot in the film. I think it's really is a love letter. It's not my grief, It's not. Yeah, this is not my grief with the film.
I'd add to the fact that it's kind of a love letter and I don't know, a hate letter too, because it's about obviously, aesthetically speaking, Los Angeles is beautiful, and it is the location where your dreams might come true. But the thing is, it's so arbitrary, the fact that your dreams may come true or not, and that's what came through in that movie. It's just they put in the work, and we can see in her first audition that she's fucking great, and Ryan Gosling is just a great piano player, but they do not succeed, and it will come, but sometimes it will come with compromise, sometimes it will come through just hard work and quitting things, and this, because for me this is the meat of the movie, because the romance is kind of secondary to this, and this was the thing that kind of resonated in me. I don't know why, because perhaps I'm getting setbacks right now in my stand-up career or whatever, but that's the thing. it can talk a lot to people in general through these characters and through their struggles in their accomplishments in life.
It's I may add something about that. It's something about reaching your dream, etc., etc. But there are never any commentary about the nature of the dream. It means I'm gonna take another movie to make a comparison between the two. It's The Social Network by David Fincher. Yeah, and in this film, it's also about reaching a dream, reaching the American dream. But you have always a commentary on the nature of the dream. Should you dream that? Should you have this dream? You never have that in La La Land. It's like, here is the dream we present to you. Here is Hollywood. Here is the American dream. But there is never something to balance this dream.
There is actually the other way around. It's the moment any character, any of the two main characters starts doubting, the response is immediately, no, you have to dream, and you have to dream bigger, and you should not ever allow. And what struck me about this is that, okay, they have a dream and they're struggling, but the difference between, maybe it's something that the director wanted to show, I don't know, it's how arbitrary success and failure are, because I think that's what he wanted to show when he shows Emma Stone failing at all those casting with the casting directors not looking at her at all. Maybe that's what he wanted to say, that okay, it's very unfair and you never know if someone else is going to get the part because they slept with anyone or stuff like that. It's a bit hinted at the beginning that maybe if you want to succeed in Hollywood, you also have to meet the right people and you have to somehow fuck the right
socialize
people.
in the right groups.
And the problem is, okay, if you're gonna make it against the struggling actors who work versus the struggling actors who socialize, maybe do that. But instead what happens is that there is a struggling actor who doesn't struggle and doesn't act, and at some point just magically, boom, everything happens. And that's the way she succeeds seemed to me even more arbitrary than the way she fails. So it's a bit strange.
I don't know about that, because I think by doing her one-woman show, she kind of puts herself out there, kind of naked in front of, those 7 people on the stage. And it's about more than just hard work, because you could say hard work is being a barista and doing all those casting. It's a little bit more than that. It's just, I'm going to do something else right for myself in this thing, and just it's about finding also kind of your dream, because that's I think the commentary on the thing. It's the commentary on the dream is, well, perhaps your dream isn't to be cast in something you didn't write. Perhaps your dream is making yourself, well, not to spoil too much, but she's being cast.
It's too late, I think.
Yeah, it's too late. But she's being cast, and that's, I thought, very interesting, because she's being cast in something that doesn't have a script. So she's being cast in something that she will create herself. And that's I think the commentary on the dream is, it's about actually always finding your dream, pursuit of the dream, and that's where the work is. So again, like I said, the romance for me was a surprise, and a very good surprise. But the meat of the thing was that, and you know what? I'm liking it more now. I'm talking about.
You like it even more tomorrow, I think.
About what you just said, when she succeeds in the end, there is there is kind of a mirror image.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of the film, she is working in a Starbucks, something like that.
Yeah.
She's a barista shop in this, and there is a huge movie star coming in the coffee, and ordering from Emma Stone, and everyone is really treat her with a lot of respect, obsequiosity. And in the end, there is the same scene, but Emma Stone takes the place of the huge movie star, and it's like she became her.
Yeah.
and that's it. It's like she became these big movie stars that have the attention of everyone. At no point it changed during the film. This thing. That's why that's why I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
It's in the end she is the big star. So what?
Yeah, it's very American though. You want to be the person. I would have loved
real propaganda film about the American dream.
I kind of fantasized about the fact that she would have like a little moment with the new barista in this coffee shop, like I used to work here or something like that. Something human. I know it would have been cheesy, but it's a musical. We can we can have that. But instead was the cold approach. She's the best. One day I'll become the best. That's I agree with you. It's very American, very.
And there is another film, an old film about this. It's All About Eve.
Yeah.
By Mankiewicz, and in All About Eve there is kind of the same scene because she became the one she wanted to become, but in the process she lost something.
Yeah,
it's not the case here.
Well, she also, she's losing something.
What?
Yeah, but she's.
I don't know.
I don't know if we can spoil, but
no, let's not spoil. But
she's losing nothing. She chose not to.
Yeah, it's too easy for her. I agree with you.
I don't know if it's easy. It's also it's a commentary on love past, and
she didn't have to to act badly. She didn't have to change her moral standards or something like that. And that's something I expect in films like that. That's why I love All About Eve.
But again, it's not a movie about. It's a movie made to please people from Hollywood. It's Oscar bait. So
that's
a problem. Yes, I agree.
You are too political with this movie.
I don't like I don't like the project.
Okay.
Of the film.
Let's say that the ending is already that much frustrating that you don't need to burden her with even some more sacrifice. Also, I think you can't forget that a musical supposed to be kind of a feel-good movie. It's about, like Jean-Yves said earlier, it's about finding yourself a few days later singing while you're eating or something like that. And it is that. We just came to my place to record that podcast, and somebody just stopped on his bike, and I was just. God, he's going to tap dance right now. Of course he didn't, but it's about just having a little spark in your life, just, like some movies are giving it to you.
Goethe had a way to analyze the work of art. He said, when you analyze the work of art, you have to ask yourself 3 questions. What is the project? Is the end result the same as the project? And was it worth it? I just think it wasn't worth it. I think it's well done. I think he achieved what he wanted to achieve, and I don't like what he wanted to achieve.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, we enter the big fat realm of taste, I guess, because I can understand your point of view, but it cannot deteriorate the fact that I just had a great time. Anything else to add? Perhaps I don't know, on the music. I felt like for a good third portion of the movie, we kind of forgot about the musical, because we kind of see Emma Stone sing at the end of the movie at her casting, but for a good 30-40 minutes before that, I felt like there was no singing at all.
Most of the numbers are at the beginning or at the end.
The end. Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of weird, because when she started to sing at her casting, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, it's a musical. I forgot about it.
But it goes with the idea that you talked about earlier, which is to say that the part where they sing is the part where they're in love, and it's the infatuation that makes them over the top and singing all the time. And the meat of the movie, well, their relationship is getting a bit harder, they hit some difficulties. They have a couple of great, I said the rom-com part was a bit disappointing, but there is a couple of great romantic comedy scenes, not comedy, but romantic dramedy scene. I mean, the dinner scene is really good. The chemistry between Stone and Gosling is at least very strong in a couple of scenes where the relationship start to be something else than just a rom-com cliche. And I enjoyed a couple of the scenes, and that's true. That's the scene where you don't get any music. I was monitoring the faces expression, and I was monitoring how they were trying to go through it, and I was listening to the script, and honestly, it was
realistic.
It was a good job. It sounded like, okay, this dinner is going to end badly. Maybe that's because he's a French director, a half French director, and he knows how to shoot people who are splitting over dinner. You know, maybe that's what he has in his genes. So I don't know, but
then he shoots her. I don't know.
But honestly, this scene was surprisingly not bad.
No, definitely. I don't know. Do you want to add something on it, Jean-Yves?
For photography as well, because as you really love this scene you're mentioning, when you can feel that there's something slowly creeping up, and that will obviously precipitate something terrible in the end. And I think there is a strong work about cinematography and especially lighting. And I can see really easily lights isolating characters and dramatizing bits of it. And I really liked it, as well as in the, for example, I can think of the final audition scene where she's being isolated completely with this dark and soft and dim lighting. I really liked it. Also, to go back to the singing, I really liked the fact that they did not rely strongly on the performance, meaning that you can feel that the voices are sincere. They are a bit wobbly, also a bit weak. You know, that you can feel that there is. I can feel the emotion. I can feel the
tremolo.
I can feel that Emma Stone, she's frail. She's like this little bird and really fragile thing, and I can feel that through the voices, and I can feel the wholeheartedness as well, and that's something I really liked. I absolutely adored the Ryan Gosling's performance. I think it's really difficult to pull off, being self-deprecatingly handsome. You mean this guy? He thinks nothing of himself, and he somehow manages to look stylish. I mean, this is really. And I think of the scene where it's supposed to be this day job of the 80s guitarist. I really like this. I really like this scene, and I really like Ryan Gosling's performance as a whole. I really like the fact that I really like this idea of chasing this jazz club dream. I really love the scene where he eventually accepts to do this daytime thing with John Legend's the allegedly good John Legend's band, and there is this photography, the shooting scene at the end where there's this photographer asking him to bite his lip and then pull down the glasses, and he's I can really I think this is really funny. So I think there is a good
balance, perhaps.
There is a really good balance between these humoristic scenes, comedy, music. And again, to go back to the thing you said about, I agree that this is going to win all the Oscars because Hollywood loves watching itself in the mirror, and it brings us back to this whole thing of this self-absorbed world. And what I think it's really ironical is that I think Damien Chazelle, he conveniently does this thing, but it's not really a Hollywood order. Do you know what I mean? It's conveniently done for Hollywood, because I think this is truly sincere piece of work. I can't really imagine that someone ordered like a Hollywood musical pastiche. It's
he really wanted to do that.
Yeah, and I think they're going to use this in a way. It's not, you know what I mean? It's that there is this ironical thing of using something that was not really ordered. It's really convenient for me.
Just like The Artist, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. But although I don't know the Hazanavicius's state of mind when he did The Artist, I don't know how much he's in love with Hollywood.
Honestly,
so I don't know how much you can compare them.
He said he was in love with Hollywood and he wanted to pay homage, but I can suspect it was not so much Oscar bait than this one. This one really, really looks like we need a good old musical. We need to have a movie that wins Oscar without having black people getting whipped. I mean, that's really what I felt.
I can feel like, and I can see the producers of that movie being like that.
Yeah,
but
honestly.
I cannot see Damien Chazelle being so cynical about it, because to do this kind of movie, you have to be at least a little bit sincere in your love for musicals, but
it's probably
this, because I like you said about this kind of view of Los Angeles. You have to be a little bit sincere.
But I think he's a sincere member of the Los Angeles actors bubble. I mean, this is, to me, it's really
not cynical.
I have to touch on this subject. To me, I'm sorry, I've been spending the last 3 days reading about American news. So I've been spending the last 3 days in the filter bubbles between the pro-Trump and the against Trump. I think in a couple of years, when people will be asking what was Hollywood doing when Trump got elected, people will say we were having our fingers in our ears and saying la 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 la, and this would be the movie to show it. It's so out of touch with anything real. It's such a small bubble talking to itself with people that are supposed to be struggling actors, and again rich enough to buy a Prius. I mean, I'm an engineer and I'm not rich enough to buy. I'm struggling to pay my
cars are way cheaper in the US.
Okay, maybe. But it's a joke. But you can see how the product placement was done. And thank you to you for this movie.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, again, just a joke. And maybe they need that. Maybe what people really need at the moment is a feel-good movie, and maybe that's great.
Yeah, well, I guess we will see during this year the balancing of the Trump election. Meanwhile, obviously, the timing of the release of La La Land was not on the political schedule. I think it was more, and you said it, relevant to the Academy Awards. But the movies to come will be more pertinent as to the backlash of what's going on with the right-winged people, and more of the America we know, and not only specifically to Hollywood.
Well, that's funny because I completely agree. It's really a reflection of some people being really secluded and living in their own bubble. But I'm saying that because maybe this summer, if we go to LA. And fingers crossed, I can assure you that we will be like this in the streets.
Yeah, of course.
And
we will go to the Griffith Observatory and sing.
I still see this as a big, as a big Disney World thing. So to me, I'm having a hard time associating it with a down-to-earth thing again. And what I really like, because I don't want to forget this, I really liked how, because technically it's really impeccable, and I really like how he managed to infuse the film with retro stuff, and these images which seemed like long gone spirit, and to releasing them in the wild like enchanting creatures. I really like the fact that he managed to infuse retro in contemporary imagery. I really like that. I really like the pace it gave to the film.
I will make the parallel with the Rogue One movie, because bear with me a second, because which I loved.
Okay,
just to say, because it had the bits and pieces of reference and nostalgia that he managed to, give life to a modern thing and a new thing. with that, and that's how I felt there, and that's how I feel here, and that's something that I like.
Oh yeah, I should recommend this because there are some, again, depends on the dispositions you're at for the movie, but I would definitely recommend this as not a first date, but a second date movie, because there is a really awkward scene with the hand touching, and you know what I thought that if some people are on the first date, this is going to be really awkward to get through, because it's like 5 minutes long. And it's
have to be honest, I almost took Arezki's hand during this moment.
We shared a moment
really,
right there.
I was about to.
But all jokes aside, though, it is definitely a scene that makes you want to be in love, to share those intimate moments of awkwardness between two people. It's really well done. What Jean-Yves, what wine would you recommend with this movie?
I should recommend a Gaillac Brun 2009.
So second date, Gaillac.
Yeah, I think you can prep the tertiary. You get some nice wine, some nice takeaway. Second date, if you can get someone back to your place on second date, then you're definitely gonna score. That's a dead on
for all you Tinder people out there. We give you advice. Come here on Faim de Séance.
Do people have
is not a drill.
Do people ever have second dates on Tinder? I don't know. Does it
Asking
exist?
the real question.
Isn't just talking on Tinder the first date anyway?
Yeah, I mean, it's the second fuck, maybe. You know, which movie should you watch on your second fuck on Tinder anyway? Sorry,
Arnaud, how many yums would you give to La La Land?
I give it 1 yum.
What? 1 yum? What
One
the
yum
fuck?
out
That is really low.
how
That's like triple X low.
You're right. I give it 1.5.
on how many
Okay, 1.5. I got you a half yums, guys.
on how many yums do we
on
score?
5.
On 5.
Yeah.
A solid 3.5.
Oh, okay. So you
Again,
are
if
gentle with, even though you criticize it.
If you're in for the songs, 3.5.
All right, Jean-Yves.
Okay, I'm gonna go for oh my god, 4.5.
Oh,
Because
that's high.
I was going for a 4, but I just want to move up these grades because I really think that it really works. Again, the retro against the contemporary makes it really exotic. I really like that, and I really love the fact that it works both as a energizing piece of work as well as a parable on chasing dreams. So I really like the fact that you can take this movie in different ways. And I really like, again, my experience. I definitely advise you to go with someone you like or you don't like, so you can compare your thoughts about it. But again, with my wife, really I had some enriching talk about it, about this thing about chasing dreams, where I'm at. I'm also really jealous about Damien Chazelle because he was born in 1985, so he's 32. Just like me, and I think he's French, so we should be like like we should pray. I mean I don't know. I was really I should probably get it down a notch because people, for a few days now, people have been throwing stuff at me in class because I sing all the time. So I
keep your chalk close to the vest.
I need to get this back a notch. The thing, have you done your homework, people? so this is the mood I'm in. I'm really I'm really passionate.
It does
about
lift
it,
you up.
It lift me up, and it really lived up to my expectations despite the really laudatory reviews. So that's what I want to say.
All right. Well, it did not blow my mind. I have to admit, I was about to give it a 3.5, but I know for sure that I'm going to like it more. And it is a movie that makes you want to be in love. It is a movie, I think, that makes you want to accomplish the dream in the back of your mind. That's how I felt anyway. And it is a movie that moves you. So I'm going for 4 yams for me.
4 yams? Oh
yeah. So
I was like, what?
So definitely two sides on it. You'll have to see it to appreciate or not the vision of Damien Chazelle. I'd like to thank every one of you. Thank you, Arnaud. Thank you, Jean-Yves. Thank you, Pierre-Henri. And I'll hope to see you very soon on another English episode. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to Faim de Séance on iTunes. Follow our page on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever the fuck you want. And
RIC.
Bisous.
Bye.
Bisous. La la la. La la la.